This is me throwing down a few dunks. This is me doing plyometrics exercises. This is me demonstrating my jumping ability. And this is the guide I sold to make money off my passion. So lately I've been noticing a trend with big name gurus, big name marketers, and entrepreneur influencers pushing this narrative that you shouldn't start a passion-based business. The narrative is something like, don't start a business based on your passion, go where the money is instead. And funny enough, the example they often use to prove their point has to do with professional sports and basketball. It goes something like, not everybody can be LeBron James, not everybody can make the NBA. Well, I'm not LeBron James, I didn't make the NBA, and I made money off basketball. It was the easiest money I've ever made. Now, I'm not here to argue whether or not it's possible to make money off your passion. Yes, it's possible. I've done it. And I know a lot of other people that have done so as well. That's not even a question. I'm here to state the fact that it's the most probable way for a beginner to start making money online. Meaning, if you're a beginner with no prior marketing or business experience, the highest probability of success is going to come from a passion-based business. Before we get into my personal experience of making money off my passion, which is basketball, I'm going to give you a little example, and it's going to involve me getting into the best shape of my life. So here's a diagram I drew. Let's say at the top here, you have a goal, okay? And that goal is to get into shape. Now at the bottom, you have two methods of getting into shape. On the left, you have basketball, and on the right, you have a treadmill. So which one of these two methods do you think has a higher probability of getting me into shape? On the left, you have basketball. I absolutely love basketball. At one point, I was obsessed with it. I would play 5 to 7 times a week, 2 to 3 hours a day. So that would equal to anywhere from 15 to 20 hours of cardio per week. I didn't have to motivate myself to go. I just wanted to go. If I could, I'd play all day, every day. And there was absolutely zero resistance for me to play basketball. Like nothing could stop me. In fact, instead of resistance, there was a gravitational pull. On the other hand, you have a treadmill. I hate treadmills. I have to motivate myself. I have to do mental gymnastics. I think they're boring and pointless. 5 minutes on a treadmill feels like an entire hour to me. I just hate doing it, right? So on one hand, you had something that has a gravitational pull, something I love and want to do every day, something that doesn't require motivation. And on the other side, you have a treadmill, which I absolutely hate doing, can't stand, and need motivation to do. What do you think has a higher likelihood of accomplishing the goal of doing cardio and staying in shape? It's pretty obvious. I'm far more likely to get into shape playing basketball than I am by running on a treadmill. Basketball has about 100% probability of me getting into shape. A treadmill, maybe 10 to 15%. I don't like doing it, so I'm probably not going to do it. The important thing to notice here, there's a direct correlation between resistance and the probability of you actually executing something in real life and getting the results that you want out of it. The same applies to online business. The less resistance, the less barrier to entry there are in a business model, the more likely you are to execute it in real life, the higher the probability of success. Now let's go over my personal experience. In the beginning of the video, I mentioned that making money off basketball was by far the easiest money I've ever made. So let's go over that in detail. Normally, when I would go into markets and niches I knew nothing about, there would be a long process involved and a lot of barriers to entry. I would have to do a ton of due diligence, a lot of market research. It would take me a while to get the sales copy right and formulate the offer. The same went for the ad campaigns. They would take a long time to optimize. So it would take a while. It would take plenty of work and effort for me to get my idea from the idea stage to actually generating profit. This did not involve any of that. There was absolutely no resistance or barriers to entry. I entered the market as an expert. I already knew everything there is to know about dunking and playing basketball before I even decided to make this program. Basically, I was always around basketball. I was always watching basketball. I was always on basketball forums. I was always reading basketball magazines. So I was an expert before I even started. I had credibility from the start. I mean, all I had to do was just record myself dunking a basketball, and that was good enough to build a product around. I didn't have to build credibility over time by posting on social media, faking it till I make it, pretending that I know what I'm talking about. No, I was credible right from the start. I did absolutely zero due diligence and market research. I mean, I was already an expert. I already knew everything about the market. So I just skipped that part and went straight to creating the product. The production, execution, and logistics of creating this product was extremely easy. All I had to do was just go to the gym, record myself doing exercises and dunking, and that was it. I already did this every single day. All I had to do was just bring a camera this time. This product started generating sales with high conversions on day one. I didn't have to tweak the sales copy. I didn't have to split test anything. I didn't have to optimize the ad campaign. It just went live and started making money. Basically, I did not have to use brain for this one. There was absolutely no resistance and the barriers to entry were non-existent. So you see, starting a business based on passion as your first business as a beginner isn't just some feel good wishful thinking where you get to just have fun, make money, and skip happily all the way to the bank. No, it's pragmatic, calculated business strategy, a strategy that has a very high probability of execution and success. Look, it's pretty simple. As a beginner with no experience, as a first time entrepreneur, you need to take every advantage you can get. Instead, you're being given advice to just keep stacking disadvantages and barriers to entry on top of each other. People telling you to go into these markets you know nothing about and telling you to try and execute business models that require a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of expertise to execute and actually implement in real life. In conclusion, the only strategies you should be looking at are the ones that you can execute in real life. Because what good is a strategy that doesn't take into account your current ground level realities, your experience, your strengths, your weaknesses, your knowledge? What good is that strategy? Why would you want to work years just to try and execute something? Why not just start right now?